Okay, so if we want to construct a confidence interval in Google Sheets, you can just Google search confidence interval Excel or use ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will get you something even better. And this is the command we're going to be typing in. The command needs to know an alpha, it needs to know a standard deviation, and it needs to know an n. So let's say I want to construct a 95% confidence interval. Alpha is the area of the tail. So in decimal form. So if you got 95% confidence interval, that means you want 95% of your data in the center. And then that means 5% left over for the tail. So that's the alpha that we're looking for. Okay. Standard deviation, we know how to calculate that. So I'm just labeling it, and then over here I'll type in the command like we did before, typing equals stdev.s, open parentheses, click and drag, and then close the parentheses. So there's our standard deviation. And then what else do they want? They want n. N is the sample size. So this one's labeled. There's 20 subjects. You could obviously count if you wanted. Quick way of doing it is it starts on cell 2 and ends on cell 21. So 21 minus 2 makes 19, and then add 1 after you subtract those two amounts. So there's 20, like we said. That's n. And now we got everything. So let's type it in. Like they said, equals confidence.p is what you want to type, though. This one, I assume, uses the z distribution. I'm not super familiar with Excel. We want equals confidence.p. You'd only use z if it was a population proportion or if you knew the population standard deviation. Okay, then it said the first number is alpha. Second number is standard deviation. Take a few of those decimals. You don't have to type all of them. And the sample size is 20. Close the parentheses. Hit enter. And so you might be thinking, well, confidence interval is supposed to be two numbers. This is just one. This is the margin of error. Okay. So that's going to tell us, I'm just double checking. I'm pretty sure this is the margin of error. Yeah. Okay. So you need to know the mean because a confidence interval is a mean plus or minus the margin of error. So we just got to calculate the mean of this data set. So equals average, open parentheses, click and drag, close the parentheses. So the mean is 122, so that means our lower bound is just going to be that mean subtracted by our margin of error. So 122 subtracted by 5.2859. There's our lower bound. That's the lower part of the confidence interval. And the upper bound will be 122 plus 5.285. I'm not concerned about decimal values in the last part. Just get a couple hundreds of places fine. Okay, so that means we're 95% confident that the population mean, SBP, is between these two numbers. Remember, 95% confident doesn't mean there's a 95% probability. It's not quite. It means if you were to repeat and construct this confidence interval again and again, 95% of the time you'd expect to capture the population mean.